Saturn, he's in charge of a lot of stuff. Some of it is perseverance and patience, solitude, new foundations, melancholy, but also building things in a very conservative, hardworking manner. Anyway, this guy's going backwards. He's backpedaling, and he's going to be doing that from June 17th to November 4th in the sign of Pisces. And we're going to talk about what that might mean for you in that June through November timeframe based on your rising sign. Just so you know, Saturn hasn't been in Pisces since May of 1993 to April of 1996. So this is a new story. You may not have felt what it's like to have a Saturn retrograding in Pisces, depending on how old you are. And the time before he was retrograding in Pisces would have been March of 1964 to March of 1967. So it's not that common. And so we're going to talk about how this can be a useful transit where Saturn, sometimes a difficult player on the board game of astrology, is actually quite solid and not so rough when he goes retrograde. And what that was is a piece of fluff floating through my window. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the whole sign house system. I'm using the Western tropical zodiac. I'm a total asteroid junkie. And when you stick around, hit the like button, subscribe, you get a lot of asteroid content from me over the course of the 20 to 30 videos I put out every month. In this video, I'm not going to talk about the content for the mundane astrology, which is how this might impact the world. I'll save that for another video. We're going straight to all signs. We're doing a simple delineation of your rising sign, most accurate, sun and moon secondarily, about how this may impact you. I'm going to focus a little teeny tiny bit as well on the concept of what Saturn and Jupiter do when they're together because of one reason. We're going to have a nice rare Saturn-Jupiter touch point. It's going to be quite flowing and it's going to be unusual because Saturn in the sign of Pisces, Jupiter in the sign of Taurus is a rare sextile combination that we last had happen in, let me get my notes, 2000, it'll be next in 2083. So we want to go into some of how that will play out in your life, in our sky collectively, but for you particularly. By the way, when? That's going to happen between the 19th and the 24th of June when Saturn stations retrograde at 7 degrees of Pisces and does the moon walk backwards to 0 degrees of Pisces, which will be back all the way to his turnaround on November 4th. But in that very early backward momentum, Jupiter is going to sit at 7 degrees of Taurus, where he's moving direct since May the 16th, and he'll be there until May 24th next year. So he's in the early degrees. Jupiter's at 7 degrees. The node of fate is still sitting nearby him on June the 19th to the 24th. The North Node is there as well as a Uranus, a lot of electricity. And then Jupiter, the good guy, the Santa Claus, the benefic, the guru energy, the wisdom god, and the prosperity god is going to receive an energetic flow to Saturn retrograde at 7 degrees of the sign of Pisces. So 7 degrees Taurus and 7 degrees Pisces will be hot spots in the sky, June 19th to 24th. I'll touch a bit on that. So if you're also new to my channel or just listening for the 100th time, there's a description box below. And in that description box, you can do things like check out my earrings by the designer Milena Devi, a friend of mine in Vancouver. She has more than this. She's got a whole stock of really cool earrings, and I'm just promoting her as a friend. So if you want to get some of her stuff, look in the description box to order it. Also, I have courses I'm teaching every month. I have one Athenium course. Just go to my website. The website's information is below. Maybe you'd like to sign up. I teach longer courses, but I'm full in my current Sky Reader. I do readings individually. However, I'm booked out until the end of the year, so I apologize. I will be opening a wait list, though, for some limited spots in the fall, September through to the end of November. If that interests you, the wait list is in my description box as well. All right, let's get rolling and talk about this sky. Oh, and sign up for my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. I'm having a promotion during the month of June. When you sign up, you're going to get a discount code for 50% off once you're in my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter environment. All right, let's get rolling. Number one, Saturn. You know, I like Saturn. I'm an Aquarius rising. I like his vibe. You know, he's rules Aquarius and Cap. He's in my first house. He makes me work hard. He makes me responsible. He makes me dutiful. He gives me a sober-minded, realistic perspective in life. those are the good words for this god Saturn in our lives. But I often think of characters like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars to represent the elder, the senex, and the sage-like wisdom, as well as Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series. And because I love the Harry Potter movies so much, I grabbed a bunch of Dumbledore quotes, and I'm going to tell you why they're so Saturn. Now, I know some of you don't care to understand Saturn or the archetypes of Saturn when he's in a relationship to Jupiter, which I'll be sharing in a minute. But it's good to think about how Saturn is like a character rather than imagining Saturn as some distant celestial body. I want you to consider what is Saturn when he's, outpictured like a Dumbledore, the old wizard who, was in charge of the Hogwarts school in the Harry Potter series. So here's a great Dumbledore quote that's very Saturnian. It's basically, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live, because Saturn's about the matrix, a hardcore space-time matrix, like in the movie The Matrix. This is also nothing like floaty-doty Neptune or, wishy-washy vibe, even though Saturn is in Pisces, which is watery and can be associated with Neptune in modern astrology, although it's Jupiter's house in the ancient tradition. He's definitely the hardcore realist, okay? He also says, I love this stuff. Hang on. Numbing the pain for a while will make it worse when you finally feel it. Yes. Feel no gain, no pain as a Saturn refrain. Feel the pain, be real, feel like what life is like. Here's another Dumbledore quote. Curiosity is not a sin, but we should exercise caution with our curiosity. Mercury is curiosity. Saturn is like the taskmaster and the realist and the stern one who goes, curiosity could indeed kill the cat. And if I go through a lot of these quotes that have to do with Saturn, I kid you not, a lot of the Dumbledore quotes are very Saturnian. So think of the elder, the wise man, the sage, the senex, the crone. Those are the hermit. These can be very Saturnian archetypes. Now in the book, one of my favorites by one of my teachers, Ren Butler, who I learned archetypal astrology from. His book is called The Archetypal Universe, and I've just cued it to the Jupiter story. Now Saturn is moving in Jupiter's house, Jupiter Saturn, and so Saturn wants to please Jupiter, but Saturn's going retrograde, which can make you more introspective, inward, he's less harmful. Retrograde, he's more like the sage and the wise man and woman than he is, let's say, the hardcore realist raining on your parade, right? But according to Ren Butler, for example, when Jupiter and Saturn are in a communication, and now this is a flowing communication between the signs of Pisces and Taurus, right? But when they're in the flowing communication in general is a good thing. But according to Ren Butler, some of this Jupiter-Saturn combinations can include virtues of maturity, balance, integrity, perspective, a regard for quality over quantity, step-by-step improvements, and solid rewards earned over time. That's very Saturnian, like, one step at a time. What is that? The tortoise and the hare. In the Saturnian idea, it is a tortoise who wins the race. And that slow-moving, grinding time god, Chronos, Saturn, is that kind of concept. But on the downside, with Jupiter always wanting to be big, go big or go home. And if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room and all of that energy. That's Jupiter. He's expansive. He's big. And, Saturn is like in his house. So he's trying to work with this energy of, I'm in Jupiter's house and Jupiter's over there in Taurus, Venus's house, but I'll make this work. But here's the downside of Saturn and Jupiter, because Saturn will constrain and Jupiter wants to blow things up. So feelings of constriction and missed opportunities, a tendency for pessimism to outweigh the optimism. Jupiter's optimism, Saturn is pessimism, the possible negative results of too much prosperity or too much success, or the gilded cage. Now, because this is a flowing aspect pattern, I honestly don't think it's going to be an issue. I think we're going to feel quite good about this. All right, honestly. But there is a lovely quote by Jung that Ren Butler talks about. There's no coming to consciousness without pain, as a kind of Saturn Jupiter combination quote. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your sign. This is not a long video. I will touch on the Saturn Jupiter. I'm going to be doing a much longer video on Saturn Jupiter to talk about some of the asteroids, the Sabian symbols, and the stars involved in that. So if you want to subscribe at this point, you'll get much more deep content about that Saturn Jupiter sextile, but I'll touch lightly on it for each sign. Okay. So I'm going to go over to the software so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And we're going to whip through a very quick but fun video on Saturn moving retrograde, and ask you to go back over some old ground in some area of your life. Remember, again, reiterating that 1993, May to April of 1996 was the last time Saturn retrograded here. Now, Saturn will retrograde here. He'll retrograde here. Oh, sorry. Did I say retrograde? I mean, May 1993 to April 1996 was the last time Saturn was in the sign of Pisces. Okay. But he retrograded there at least 3 times during that window of time. So go back to that vibe of 93 to 1996. What was happening in your life then, that you are going back over old ground, deepening, making a new solid foundation, because now each sign we're going to go through is doing it again in another part, another time, another place. Sky's not entirely the same. I always tell you guys that, right? The sky changes up. So let me cue the chart and we'll start the L signs. I don't know if you can hear that there's a helicopter overhead. Yay. If I'm talking a little too fast for you, and some of you think I am, even though some of you think you need to speed me up, you can always just hit a button on YouTube that you can make me go slower by hitting the playback speed that you would prefer. So rather than keep complaining about people who are extremely gnarly in troll land, just a piece of advice. It's not too hard to change the playback speed. A lot of people speed me up, some people slow me down. You can't please all of the people all of the time. So I'm, rather than trying to figure out what you need, you do what you need for you. All right. This is Aries, sun, moon, and rising. I'm looking at this sky as you are, and you can see that I might simplify this for you guys. We'll leave it as is. So we're talking about the June 22nd sky right now. As you see, it's queued to June 22nd, but that's because I'm really kind of focused on the area of the 19th to the 24th of June as well, when there's going to be the sextile between the planet Saturn and the planet Jupiter. And I just don't like the sky being this messy. So I'm going to clear it up a bit, guys. I'm just going to get rid of a bunch of junk in the trunk here and make it simple for you. I might leave Venus in there because she is the Lord of Taurus. We might say something, intelligent there. Okay, so here we go. So here's the sky. This is a sextile. That's that blue line. It means 2 signs away or 60 degrees. But let's talk about the general meaning first. Every, 26 years or 30 years, depends, Saturn will travel through the sign of Pisces. Now he's been here in Pisces since May the 7th and will leave in February of 26, and he's retrograding. Yes, he is, between June 17th and November 4th in your 12th house. If you go back to 93, May to April of 96, you might remember how you might have tried to clean up some of your addictions, self-undoing, bad habits, self-sabotage. It may involve a time of going into environments like hospitals, perhaps also ashrams, or maybe even things to do with prisons. This may not even have been about you. It could have been a sick person in a hospital back in May of 93 to 96, just as an example. Even so, or an elder in the hospital, you will go back like you did back then between June 17th and November 4th and likely look more deeply at where you got these patterns that undo you, that cause addictions or self-defeating habits and stuff like that. And also it could be a time of consolidating some financial gain from international revenue, foreign shores, or business dealings with international people. And it is that Jupiter in the second house that brings in the idea of constraining or restricting what you ingest, whether it's a vape, a cigarette, a wine, or in just more positive terms, foods that aren't good for you. And it could be a very important time, therefore, of consolidating a kind of discipline and perseverance that can really hold you in good stead around quitting a bad habit, basically. And that, again, is for you to consider on the dates I mentioned, which was 19th to the 24th of June. It'd be a great time to start a cleanse, start a path towards better health and wholeness through what you ingest. But it's also good for your money, especially, as I said, if you make money from foreign countries or foreign shores. But as Saturn goes retrograde here in that window of time, the idea too is like, what are you going back over that you've done before? Have you ever attempted to, clean up an addiction or refrain from a bad habit? Or have you made money in the past from international sources and now you're going to create new foundations and structures after you take a little bit of patience, solitudinous, time out energy to really consider what it is you want to create. And lastly, Hey, Jupiter is in Venus's house, and she's busy in the house of children, entrepreneurship, sexuality. And quite possibly, there's a little bit of an idea that Jupiter wants to please Venus, Venus wants to please Saturn. It's a chain of command. So again, Jupiter also might want to bring more entrepreneurial success with Saturn's help, especially from foreign shore payment processors, or even some new vitality to what you enjoy in life with what you eat, but that also is good for you in terms of not being addictive, self-defeating, or self-sabotaging. All right, and Saturn is in the house of bed pleasures, sextile Jupiter in the house of robust speech and food, and Venus could say, okay, better bed pleasures that are more nutritional. Just making stuff up. But you're going to go back over those 12th house areas of your life, and you might want to be more alone, melancholic, maybe solitudinous than you normally are. You might do more alone time during this June 17th to the November 4th transit. All right, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. So go back to May of 93 to April of 96. That's the last time Saturn was trundling through Pisces, and you experienced retrogrades over those 3 years. Here we go again. You may have the idea that you want to pair your friends or distance from your friends. Saturn retrograde can be more like the hermit. He's really low key. He's more introspective. He's looking for deeper sage-like knowledge and mastery. He may help you go back and develop some kind of deepening, or even old friends from the past that you haven't seen for a while, former friends from the past, or elders too from your past, but in the idea of friends coming back to you between June 17th and November 4th. And if you've been having struggles with your financial gain from your career, or so sort of the rewards of your career not really meeting your expectations, that could have been true ever since Saturn entered in this part of your sky on March the 7th. And now he's going back to help you look at new ways to create better foundations for greater gains. You also have that sextile to Jupiter in the first house. You have Jupiter in the house of you, bringing you some luck, expansion, growth, prosperity, and wealth. Also perhaps better health. Also a little bit of weight gain until he leaves there next May 24th. You can gain muscle, chubbiness, or even be pregnant with this transit. So if you're a Taurus rising and that's not something you want, be cautious. But with Jupiter sextiling Saturn, and there's this flow glow between the two of them, this is very good for opportunities to persevere at something that will bring you greater gains as you create a new foundation regarding financial gain from your career path. I like that Venus is in the 4th house. Some of this can do with ancestral line, family of origin, or even property and land, about how this wealth generation can also be improving because Jupiter's trying to please Venus because he's in her house, and she's busy in the 4th house at this time for you. She'll be there, by the way, till October the 9th, making for Tauruses a wonderful time at home, close to home, or with property and land, real estates, etc., doing very well and being quite successful. Last but not least, with Saturn in the 11th house, you may reframe some of your wishes, goals, and dreams for your life. You may go back and do a new 5-year plan. You may reassess what it is you really want to achieve. Jupiter makes you bold, but Saturn makes you pragmatic. Gemini. Oh, if you're watching in the live premiere, please hit my like button. I really appreciate it. I'm recording this today on June 3rd. Patreon gets this ahead of you ad-free, and that is something you might want to consider to get early access without the ads for $5 a month, plus a Zoom meeting with me for the $5 tier every month, where we talk about an astrology topic. Okay, back to the real thing. Gemini. Did I tell you someone criticized me for being a saleswoman on my own channel? This is a business, guys, not an act of service. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. All right, for you guys, you go back to May 1993 to April 96, where you had about three retrogrades of Saturn during that time, but just when Saturn was in Pisces. Saturn's been back since March the 7th till next February 2026 in your 10th house. Overlapping themes of career, of reputation, focus. And I think back to May of 1993 to April 1996. No, never mind. I'm not you guys, so forget that. But think back to that time, because it's kind of overlapping. It's playing out in you or in some new way for you, Gemini rising, sun and moon secondarily. And Saturn here retrograding is going to have you go back over some old ground. Now, you can go back to a career path you've left behind. You can have career people like bosses and authority figures coming out of the woodwork from past career endeavors as he retrogrades from June 17th to November 4th through your 10th house of career and reputation. But you may also go back over some old ground to establish a better foundation for something that you're trying to accomplish in what you call your career. It can make you more time out here, more conservative, more cautious, but also maybe just not being very visible or not being very active in your career. Maybe not so full on with whatever you're trying to achieve in your career space from June the 17th to November 4th. Now, Jupiter is saying, I'm going to bring some luck from the house of foreign shores, foreign lands, business from foreign lands, backroom deals and negotiations, and hidden variables of the 12th house. You could definitely find that, though, if you are in a career path that involves anything to do with foreign countries to your birthplace, this can be a very beautiful time to consolidate ways to great gains and perseverant discipline with luck and opportunity regarding the idea of the international component or the borderless component of how you earn money or make a living. For some of you, there may even be the opportunity to encounter a boss or authority figure who's essentially connected to foreign countries or the word international that will help you glow up. But you have to go back to go forward. So something is going backwards before it goes ahead. I like Venus in the third house of the trips and travel, also the house of the online world. For online, making money online through foreign lands and shores, that's Jupiter in the 12th. Honoring Venus in the third house of the online world. Even though Saturn's retrograding, you may go back and do some kind of project you've done before where you're making money online through something you've already done in the past and just rehabbing it, rebuilding it, creating a stronger version of it. That's probably very apt for a lot of Gemini risings at this time. It's not a good time with Saturn retrograding your 10th house to try to boldly start a new job or boldly create a new career path. Let him go direct when he knows what he really wants from you after November the 4th. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Go back to May 1993 to April of 1996, where you will find the last time Saturn spent 3 years in Pisces, your 9th house of God. Truth, wisdom, and courts and legal matters, book publishing. Third, marriages and patriarchal and father figures. And in academia and university campuses and colleges and all of that. Now, look, he's been here again, March the 7th through to next February 2026, another 3-year stint. However, this is our retrograde story, and this is going to be a time of going backwards in this part of your chart, June 17th to November the 4th. 4.5 months where Saturn's trundling backwards in a house of God. It's like churches, religions, academic environments, foreign lands and travel, visas, things to do with wisdom as well. Why is he going back here? What are you going to go back over in these areas of your life to create a more deep foundation? You might have to do it with patience and perseverance, but watch out for also melancholy when this is what's the meaning of my life house, what's my dharma, why am I here, what's the deeper meaning of being on planet Earth, the metacosmos, between the worlds, above the worlds, beyond the worlds house. And here we have Saturn can be kind of the god of melancholy and mopey, grumpy, discontent when he's retrograde sometimes. So you may do that, but you may also want to seek solitude by going on a retreat to a foreign land, going to study or learn with a foreigner, going to a university or setting up the ground to apply for a school. And Saturn, or looking at the idea of the book publishing concept, maybe some of you are going to go back to a former publisher or have a former publisher approach you. These are all possibilities. I think that with the Jupiter sextile from your 11th house, this is going to open up some luck. Jupiter is in its joy, and this is a very lucky house, the house of good spirit. This is where friends act as benefactors, our allies. People want to step in, step up, and be like your older brother or sister to help you out. You also could have some unexpected career gains financially popping out of the blue, especially with Venus in the second house, owner of the place where Jupiter is. This can really look like a financial, interesting glow, but Saturn is saying steady, steady, steady. If you're having any kind of financial glow up, well, he's retrograding. Saturn, June 17th, November 4th, wants you to, rethink all of your strategies around the meaning of life and the great gains from your career, but particularly from the 19th to the 24th of June, when we have this sextile, there may be something going on very particular to do with stabilizing career gains in a meaningful way. If you teach classes, this could be about that. If you want to study a class, it could be about that. All of it lends to greater prosperity with houses 11 and 2 involved. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Hit the like button. Your premiere, hit my like button. Thanks again. It does help the channel grow. I'm recording when I have 30,000, maybe 800 subscribers. And what day is it now? And it's popped up. My channel just popped up on me, so it's doing really well. This is June the 3rd. Don't forget, Patreon gets us first, probably by a week before you guys get it. And back to the Leo, sun, moon, and rising, especially the rising sign. So first of all, I mean, I have to start off by just reminding you, Venus is giving you a 4-month glow up. Watch my Venus and Leo video on June through to October. So you're beautiful, lucky, persuasive, charismatic, and all aglow with your lucky you. So reminding all of the Leo risings, especially, that's going on. But here we have Saturn. Hasn't since, 1993 to May of 93 to April of 96, Saturn has not gone through Pisces since then. And there he is now again, since March through to February of 26, March of this year, February 26, going through your 8th house of chunky money. This is chunks of money, basically. This is like stock investments and inheritances and shared resources with a spouse and business partner monies and tax rebates and loans and mortgages and a bunch of other things like that. Not your paycheck, not your earned income. And he's retrograded to go back over old ground. You may redo a stock portfolio. You may consider going back to an old financial advisor. You may do a lot of that stuff. I mean, he's retrograde in a shorter time frame than the 3 years, right? But you're going back over some old ground, June 17th and November 4th. Now, at the same time, there's a little lightness in the sky on the 19th to the 24th of June, when there's a glow up from Jupiter, the god of luck in the career and reputation space. Chunky money can come from people in power, bosses, superiors. It could look like a severance package buyout, quit the job, give you money to kick you out. It could look like some kind of commission infrastructure, chunks of money. It could look like a chance to buy the company stock. Somehow, chunky money and career stuff really sweetens up on the 19th to the 24th of the month of June with Venus in the house of you. You're just darn lucky. Certainly, if you want to get level up a new job or get a new job, this could be what I'm seeing. But I think the Saturn retrograde indicates also some kind of connection to your past. Also, you may be kind of rethinking more deeply things to do with your longer term treasure chest strategies for your life, as Saturn will make you realistic and make you hardcore, sober minded about finances in your life during this retrogradation. Inheritances that were waylaid or stuck or from the past could be being rediscussed, investigated during this transit. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So back in 1993, May to April of 1996, Jupiter was in your 7th house of marriage, significant others, clients, marketplace, audience. Why is it marketplace, audience, clients? It's 10th house, 1, 2, 3, all the way to from the 10th. It's the outpicturing of your career path in the world of others. Okay, so are you selling products? Are you one-on-one with clients? So that's part of it. Business partners are there, 7th house, but also your primary significant other, your marriage type partner, your monogamous mate. So Saturn can make this hard. You can find that relationships get hard, and the significant marriage type relationship feels hard. This is not going to finish till 2026. The retrograde, though, from June 17th to November 4th, can bring old spouses back or old significant others back from your past. And it can also bring back clients from your past. It also can bring back a need or desire to deepen the foundation and rebuild a structure of love and connection to somebody that you're connected to in a significant and meaningful way, usually like your primary love partner. Saturn may help you rebuild a foundation, but you also may find that your partner wants more solitude, time out, and time alone. As Saturn retrograding here can be really about the person you're with and not really about you. They may also go through melancholy, a bit of despair, and a difficult time. So be gentle on them if you can, because that Saturn can represent them feeling Saturnian, old, tired, faced with hardcore realities, etc. So we'll let them deal maybe too with the June 17th and November 4th retrograde, where they may be feeling a little bit like their life needs to go back to create more foundation. But your whole relationship can be, let's build a new foundation, let's start over, or let's create a stronger foundation together. You're going to have this transit a couple more times in the next 2 or 3 years. So it's getting you started on it. During the June 19th to the 24th window, though, there's a lovely little Jupiter sextile Saturn moment here. And that's going to open up something really lovely to do with maybe an opportunity for a foreign trip or travel with someone significant in your life. Or some kind of opportunity for a book publishing and legal agreements opportunity or academic success during the June 19th to the 24th. If it's about travel, okay, Venus is in the house of foreign lands, shores, and travel. One of the houses, 12 and 9, both do that. So it looks a lot, Venus being the lord of where Saturn sits, that for some of you, this could be a window of time, June 19th, 24th, where you either plan, take, or arrange a trip to a foreign country to maybe shore up a business partnership, a client relationship, or more likely, a significant marriage partner relationship. Finally, your marriage partner type person could indicate that they've got an opportunity of some sort, professionally perhaps, or academically in a foreign land. And that could be one that they were waiting to see manifest or materialize, and Saturn retrograde brings it on. And I already mentioned classic Saturn retrograde is old former relationships coming back to you for integration. And that's true for the longer time frame that I mentioned in the beginning, June 17th to the November 4th window. All right, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, go back to May of 1993 to April of 1996 when the last time Saturn moved through the 6th house here for you. This is a house of pets, tenancies, rentals, rental opportunities to buy, lease, rent, rent a property, rent out a property, be the tenant for a property. This also can be about karmic relationships. It's also about sickness and work and health, the work routines, the preventative ways not to be sick. Now, it's not an easy transit, Libra rising, for you to have Saturn here again for 3 years, right? This is coming now, March the 7th through to February of 2026. This 3-year transit can bring health challenges, often karmic. So get ready to take care of your health, like do preventative medicine. Pisces means your feet are one of your vulnerable places of your body, for example. So be cautious with feet in general. Do what you need, get those bunions fixed or whatever. But as a Pisces rising, as a Libra rising, this retrograde of Saturn here from June 17th to November 4th can be an old job coming back to you, an old boss coming back from the past, an old health challenge returning. Saturn retrograde will try to strengthen you in order to improve your health here as he retrogrades and finds you new health foundations. A pet could pass away anytime Saturn is in the 6th house for the next 3 years, especially if it's an elder pet. Jupiter in the house of death could be a blessed ending or a blessed death for a pet who's suffering. I'm not hoping that for you, but just letting you know, it would be like a good ending. Jupiter can bring chunky money, inheritances, legacy wealth. Well, he's traveling all year until next May in your 8th house. And with the 6th house being debts, and holding a credit card debt or any kind of debts, you may have some kind of chunky money coming to you to break a debt between June the 19th to the 24th. And you may also experience some kind of financial luck or abundance because Jupiter is in a windfalls or pennies from heaven house, and she owns where Jupiter sits. Venus is in a positive money luck place. So yeah, some money luck could befall some of you between the 19th and the 24th of June. By going backwards in something to do with your work and work situation, you may consolidate your financial situation and remedy any financial challenges to your longer term treasure chest. Again, some of you may find jobs from the past returning to you as a result of Saturn retrograde here. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Saturn last retrograde. Saturn last traveled for 3 years through your fifth house, May of 93 to April of 96. And here he is again, March of 2023 to February of 26. So we're repeating a story you've had before. Saturn is in a love and romance house. He's also in a play, pleasure, and children and fertility and pregnancy house. He's also in an independent business enterprise house. Number one, if you want to strike out and create your own business, there's a lovely transit over 3 years to do that. But while he's retrograde, don't start a new business. When he's retrograde, you're looking at the floor plan, the groundwork, the architecture of an idea. You're not taking action. In fact, Saturn is very much the architect. As he retrogrades here, if you've been thinking of having children, it's a difficult transit for pregnancy or getting pregnant with a partner, but it can happen. It means you have to do some kind of work to make it happen, or persevere or plan for it. Saturn retrograde here can also mean that some kind of backward momentum is happening in your sex life. Maybe it's been hard and now you're going to go back and contemplate why there's a lack of romantic connection with somebody. And if Saturn's in here and you start a new romance, it's probably with somebody older, and it can have some legs to stand on, because Saturn doesn't do frivolous hookups. If he's in your fifth house, he's like, it's going to last or it's not going to count. Saturn retrograding is definitely good for artists, though, here, because you could go back and work on a creative or artistic, muse-driven fifth house project and really put some fine touches on it that will make it a significant and legacy value creative song, painting, book, whatever you're up to. It's a good time for editing. It's a good time reworking a project that you've already started. There's a sextile to Jupiter between June the 19th to the 24th. That's going to be really lovely for you engaging something positive with a business partner or a significant other, to do with leisure travel opportunities. Will you travel back to a place you've been before? Probably. Or if not leisure travel opportunities, and maybe going backwards to date somebody that you dated before and finding it bounteous and opportune June the 19th to the 24th to start that relationship up again. Saturn retrograde can also make you kind of melancholic and not really having a fun time. But then Jupiter says, well, have a fun time with the significant other. Or with this client or with this business partner, and it can bring some bounty. Any legal matters to do with creative projects to be beneficial and work in your behalf, and very lucky on the 19th to the 24th. And you could also kind of include a kind of a reputation and career glow up around the 19th and the 24th through legal matters, contracts, agreements, and clients. That's that Jupiter-Venus bit going on in the sky at the same time. Don't push yourself to be frivolous and fun-loving. Saturn is the hermit going backwards. He's more hermity in the house of sort of like playful fun and frivolous pleasure. You might be way more serious and not really in just a pleasure-seeking mode as Scorpio rising during the retrograde itself, June 17th to November 4th. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, the last time Saturn spent 3 years in your fourth house of property, home, land, real estate, childhood, legacy home, childhood hometown, mother, parents, family of origin, ancestors, real estate and property. Did I say that? The last time he was here was May 1993 to April of 1996. And here he comes again, March of 2023 to 2026 February. So we can look at patterns, go back to see how it felt back then. There's different factors, but in general, it kind of have repeating themes. You may be going to move here to some place you've lived before, to return to your hometown. But if there's a desire for a move, Saturn is going to, over the next 3 years, try to create a stable foundation to move to a place that you really want to be, that's going to last. Nothing like a hop, skip, no, a lasting new home, a solid new foundation. Of course, an elder can come to live with you when Saturn transits this house for 3 years, an old person basically. And Saturn retrograde, an old person from the past coming to live with you or visit anytime then during the retrograde, which is June 17th to November 4th. Now, I love the June 19th to the 24th window because of the Jupiter-Saturn combo. Ideal for renting a home or leasing out a home, getting a debt relief process going regarding property and real estate, having a positive opportunity and development regarding a pet in connection with your home. Having a work opportunity, fortify things, working from home, an opportunity to work from home. A past boss coming into the contact with you to give you a very lovely opportunity to work maybe from home. And lastly, Jupiter here it's going to try to make your health a lot better over the next year. And this could be also a glow up on June the 19th, the 24th, to do with your health as it applies to things to do with where you live, like getting the mold removed from your house or something. Venus is glowing up your ninth house for 4 months this summer, and you're going to love travel, international travel, study, academia, book publishing is super highlighted as well. I just think that with her up there in that contact with Jupiter, because he's in her house, you may have opportunities that are work related, but also involve travel and maybe a movement away from your home, but also a connection to your home, which is kind of contradictory. I realize that. Jupiter wants to please Venus and Saturn wants to please Jupiter. That's why she's there. I'm trying to do the ping pong, billiard ball effect of whose buck stops where. I mean, Jupiter thinks everything Venus wants has to do with the meaning of your life right now. And so if you do have any kind of new work direction, I'd say it's meaningful to you. It feels true. It feels dharmic. Or Jupiter says, which foreign land, which home where to rent or to sell or to buy. Okay. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. One of my best girlfriends is a Capricorn. Not going to keep talking about my ex-husband. Someone got so irritated with me. I have a couple Cappies in my life, so I'll use that girlfriends as an example if I need it. Last time Saturn went through the Pisces real estate in your sky, the third house, whole sign third house, was May of 1993 to April of 1996. He's back. That was, of course, this year, March of this year, all the way through to February of 2026. Same story all over again. Saturn here can really cause constriction with siblings, cause difficulties with short-term travel, can cause some hardship or tiredness or difficulty with regards to studies, especially elementary and high school level, but just the idea of learning a skill. Saturn retrograding, though, can bring sibling connections back from the past. If you're a Cap rising, Saturn would bring sibling relationships back from your past. Or you may engage with a person in your neighborhood, the neighbors of the third house, from the past. Or you could have some kind of desire for less contact, Saturn timing out with your neighbors, and you may become more insular. You may travel, but it will be a place that you've gone to before. It will be somewhere that you've known before, because Saturn retrograde is going to June 17th, November 4th, suggest that siblings from the past, travel from the past, trips that you've been to before can come back to you. You may learn something here, but you'll be learning something you've already learned before and deepening your learning as Saturn retrogrades as well. Now, this shorter window of time, June the 19th to the 24th, there's a sweet sky story with Saturn sextiling Jupiter. Saturn sextiling Jupiter offers opportunity for leisure travel to a place you've been before. Or Jupiter says, how about some money luck connected to your local neighborhood? Or Jupiter says, June 19th to 24th, how about some really sweet romantic glow up with something connected to a trip, a travel, or getting pregnant on a trip, if that's something you're looking for as a Capricorn rising. Sun and moon secondarily. Jupiter can give you some money luck, though, and even some windfalls from lotteries and gaming over the next year as he travels to your fifth house. Saturn keeps suggesting, well, it may come from the local neighborhood, the bingo hall, or buying the ticket at the local 7-Eleven or something like that. Saturn can bring a lot of luck in the fifth house, Jupiter, and Saturn is trying to honor Jupiter and says, well, bring the luck to the third house. How about a new course of study? How about a great trip? How about a new neighborhood? How about, something good coming from a sibling to me, especially a younger sibling, but siblings in general. Now, there's a Venus story in the eighth house of inheritance. And because Jupiter just finished transiting through the inheritance, legacy, wealth part of the sky, there can be some positive developments about inheritance monies coming through your Capricorn sky. Maybe a return of some inheritance money, or maybe some kind of consolidation or finishing up of legacy wealth money during the June 19th to the 24th timeframe. Watch for secret love affairs with Venus in your 8th house, June, July, August, September. Just keep your eye on that ball. But Venus is like saying, okay, Jupiter, you're in my house, making a sweet aspect to Saturn, who's in your house. So Venus wants to bring money, chunks of money the best she can. She's trying to relay chunks of money into your life during the summer. And this Jupiter time, Jupiter in the 5th, it could be winning some money, and it could be very auspicious, especially Saturn stabilizing and bringing something positive here during the June 19th to the 24th. And you might want to take that money and buy a house in the neighborhood, or take a trip with that money or something like that. Or reach out to a sibling, or they reach out to you with the money in hand. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, moving forward, I'm an Aquarius rising just like you. Aquarius, here we go. Last time Saturn moved through our second house of earned income and resources and possessions was May 1993 to April of 1996. This is also your teeth, your face, and what you eat. I had a lot of dental work done in 1993 to 1996. I hope I don't have to do that again. Because it can look like that dental work. Or also Saturn here can restrict your food. I think back in 1993 to 96, I realized I might have some issues digesting certain substances, like gluten, but I don't remember how I approached it at all at this point. The idea here is you're going to constrict or restrain what you eat or put in your mouth. From when? March of this year, 23, to February 2026. Now, Saturn retrograde, you could go back to a food style you used to use. I might go back and try paleo again. I might go back to a Sober Sisters program and just stop drinking so much wine at night. Not that much, guys, 2 classes, but I think I should stop at 1 or 2, usually 2. And also, you may go back and look at an earning strategy that you've had before and you want to reconsolidate around it, because Saturn here is going to stabilize Aquarius risings people, especially Sun and Moon secondarily, financial goodness over the next 3 years. He's going to build you up a really good foundation. It's not a bad transit, because if you're Aquarius rising, this is the Lord of your skies. He works on your behalf. He's your helmsman. So Saturn is really working to stabilize and increase your money over time, Chronos, the next 3 years. If he retrogrades here, which he is, yes, June the 17th and November 4th, then you're going to look back at older strategies that you've used. And you may take a little time out from the hustle of earning money, a little bit of a downtime. I'm taking mid-June to the end of August off. I have no clients during that time, unless somebody slipped under the radar. A few people did, because I'm not going to work so hard. I'm going to go backwards in my earning strategy and think of new strategies that are different around money making. Believe me, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve I'll be sharing with you guys, because this is my livelihood. So I'm going to look at livelihood earnings, as a lot of Aquarius risings will, and new structures for financial gain. And also food style changes, and maybe dental work, going back and redoing my porcelain onlays from 1993 to 96 that I probably didn't need. I thought the dentist was ripping me off. I'm just thinking a make work project, because I had great health insurance with the World Bank at the time. Now, Saturn in conversation with Jupiter in the 4th house is wonderful between the 19th and the 24th of June to consolidate some prosperity around property, home, a land, where you live, basically. And I'm not sure what that'll look like, but it's very positive. Jupiter's going to bring legacy wealth to some Aquarius risings, like inheritance money or something like that. You could also just have money coming to you through land, property, and real estate negotiations and transformation of transactions. But also Jupiter here is going to expand your home and make you more prosperous in and from the home, or give you a larger or more big and magnificent home by next May of 2024. And so here we have a little financial yay, even as you pull back and maybe not work so hard or restructure your earning strategies. Jupiter blesses the Saturn and says, let's make more money. Let's glow up the money story. Let's bring more money into the story, basically. Let's expand the money. Even as Saturn retrogrades, it's just kind of contradictory, but it can happen. Saturn retrograde here can make you more easily able to be disciplined about food, addiction, cigarettes, wine, and money strategies. Venus is in the 7th house of your clients, audience, and marketplace. If you're online Aquarius rising type like me, this is going to make you very popular with the audience, marketplace, and all of that. You're going to have a summer glow up June through to October. But Venus is saying to Jupiter, well, you're in my house and what are you doing over there? And he says, I'm working with Saturn to make more money from home, or to get a more prosperous home, or get financial goodness through a new home, or a new home that brings financial gain because there's an office space you can use. And Venus is like, well, let me help. Let me make you more popular, appealing. Let me love you up in the marriage house. Let's consolidate financial gain through your marriage partnerships or business partnerships, or let's just make that part of your house sweet so you're not worrying about your marriage house. Okay, those are just some ideas. Certainly Venus is good for legal agreements, contracts, documents, signings to do with land, property, and real estate. She will lend a hand on the 19th to the 24th of June. First and always first, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you're a Pisces, this is important. Why? Because Saturn is in the house of you, especially your rising sign. The sun can be about your career and father figures. Moon can be about your home and mother figures. The rising sign is all about all aspects of your life, all aspects of your life. So go back to May 1993 to April of 1996. What the heck were you doing back then? Because this is back. It is back again for a revisit. You may go back and revise yourself. You may go back and think differently of yourself. You may be doing an identity revision that will last 30 years. Possibly in 93 to 96, you did an identity revision. That's 26 years ago, right? That you've changed a lot since then. How are you going to revise the sense of self? You're wisening up. You're becoming realistic. You're becoming mature. You're becoming sober-minded. You're becoming Saturnian. You're less mutable than you normally are, which means you're less fickle and changeable. You're trying to drill down into certainty and the long game, the long tail strategy for your life. Saturn here can make you feel a little older than usual. The retrograde could be also, though, you going back over old territory that started in March 7th, and you're going to go back over that territory and see how you might reformulate stuff that you've been doing since then regarding a shift of identity. You may deepen it. You may deepen it. I would say that you'll be more of a loner. Saturn is the loner, the hermit, the one who likes solitude. He tends to be more of a loner when he's retrograde as well. So you may spend more time alone during the retrograde of June 17th to the November 4th. You're less sociable. You don't want to even be sociable for some reason. Now, also, you could find that this retrogradation is going to open up a sweet spot during the June 19th to the 24th window, because Jupiter in the house of trips and travel, siblings, the local neighborhood, skills-based learning, aunts, uncles, nieces and nephews, etc., is in a sextile flow to Saturn. You may have some persevering kind of grit when it comes to getting something accomplished in the 3rd house area. Some of you may have an opportunity to travel the 19th to the 24th to help consolidate this new identity that you are trying to form. Venus in the 6th house suggests it could be work related. She owns the real estate where Jupiter's bringing the opportunity. You may have a work related journey, trip, travel of some sort. If you have an online business, this can also be a glow up in your online business, June the 19th to the 24th, but you're going back to an old business model or an old ground in an existing business to fortify and strengthen it as a Pisces rising sun and moon secondarily. Certainly though, Venus in the 6th house does suggest this can be very good work area stuff. A job opportunity in the local neighborhood coming back from the past. Saturn says, this is a good idea. I'm realistic right now, and I'm not so malefic as I retrograde. Watch for melancholy. You could be down in the dumps, not feeling your normal, dreamy, optimistic-ish, Piscean, mystical vision of set life. You kind of could get in touch with some harder core realities June the 17th to November 4th. Some of it could be about your health with Venus in the sickness house, but she's going to make everything okay. Pay attention then to things that have to do with, ways to be more healthy through opportunities in your neighborhood. Join the local gym, for example, or the yoga studio or something like that. Venus will improve your health all summer, June through to October. This little Saturn retrograde could be go back and do something you've done in the past to improve your health or learn something. Jupiter in the third house says take a class, study something that you can use to improve your health or to improve your work outcomes. And Saturn gives you the sort of solitary grit and discipline to do well in any learnings that you do want to take. Okay? During the June 17th and November 4th retrograde. Definitely something positive could develop with a sibling during June 17th to November the 4th. And it could involve something that allows you to increase your wealth or pay down a debt. Or it could involve also local contracts to do with property, land, and real estate in your neighborhood on June 19th to the 24th. All right. I hope that's useful. I hope some of that makes sense. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't hit the like button in the live premiere, please do. Milena Devi's Goddess Treasures Shopify store. She moved it from Etsy, is in my link below. If you're into artisan jewelry, which I really am, I love when one-of-a-kind jewelry is in my life because no one else has it. Nobody else can ever have it. And even a lot of the jewelry I have is artisan jewelry. I have Venus in the sign of Taurus. And that means I love to support artists, and I always have. And this is one of her pair of earrings that I own. You've seen me wear it so many times. If you want to support a local artist from Vancouver, Canada, but she ships around the world, consider checking her out. In my description box, someone said, where's the link? The description box is everything under the title of the video. Hit the more button. It's everything that I do, plus people I promote and support. Okay. Thanks for listening. I will be back to do a lot more video content this month. So much to talk about. It's a kind of an interesting, not too intense month compared to the month before. I mean, obviously April and May were really gnarly. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you for hitting my like button. Thank you for subscribing if you have. Take care.